The way he got detached the other day, I know he's won the race easily in the end, but
Detached
his
is
jumping.
harsh. Welcome back to the Staying On Racing channel. This is our DRF recap, and we are going to preview Cheltenham Day 1. Ryan, welcome back. Gareth, welcome for the first time.
Hello, mate. I hope you're well.
I've been
Hi,
good.
Jack. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Good. Overall thoughts of the DRF? I thought it was a bit underwhelming myself.
Yeah, they did well to get it on, didn't they? But it looks like it's going to take its toll on a lot of runners, I'd say. But it was a good 2 days anyway.
Definitely, yeah. A little underwhelming. A few of the runners, I'd be a little worried of going in again at Cheltenham. So yeah, I think it could have taken the ground could have taken its toll on a few of the runners for sure. So
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to the board.
a couple in particular, Cargeese and Romeo Coolio, looked like they probably had the hardest races of the DRF.
Yeah, it sure looked that way, didn't it? Took each other on a long way out. It looked like Romeo had to. Jack was keen not to let Cargeese get away, wasn't he? And I think in the end they've given themselves a much harder race than they possibly wanted to.
Gareth, would you be on either of those going forward?
No, if it was for me, I'd probably skip the festival. Definitely with Romeo Kulu anyway. Don't think either of the races really are going to suit him at Cheltenham. Don't think he's quick enough for the Arkle, and wouldn't be convinced he'll stay 3 mile.
Yeah, it's a big step up in trip 3. I know he stayed 2-4 or 2-5, but to go up to 3-1 in a what could be an okay looking RSA, it's a big ask. Speaking of the RSA picture, there was a big disappointment in final demand. Willie came on afterwards and said maybe he just doesn't like heavy ground, which would explain that run and Limerick. But is that clutching the straws a little bit?
Yeah, you'd have to say so, wouldn't you? I mean, it was a very poor run. He's been beaten by a lesser fancy stablemate who was fairly backed in though, wasn't he? During the day, he's gone off at 5-1. Which is a bit of a surprise, but to be beaten by Western Fold, who you'd think was just using that as a bit of a prep for the race, I'd say that's pretty poor. Pretty poor in the end. He'll need to bounce back from that, but he did bounce back from his poor run at Cheltenham last year to win easily at Punchestown. So maybe he can do it. I mean, Willie seems confident still that he will bounce back from that. They think he's a lot better, but it's a lot of ground he's got to make up.
Yeah, Gareth, keeping him on side, or is he in your bad books?
Yeah, he's definitely my bad books. Thought stole a few early season anti-post bets at 3-1. Thought I got a bit of value there. I see just quickly I bet there he's 7-2. I think that's very short based on that run. Actually very surprised to see him still favourite. But yeah, it looks like a wide open race. I think Grant's already aware of who I might like to back in that race going forward. And
We might leave that for our day 2 preview. I don't want to hear his name.
like Voldemort.
What do you think?
Yeah. Go
Do you
ahead.
think he just didn't like the ground, or I mean, there's a lot of walk in the parks that don't like that ground. But he has won on heavy before, so perhaps not. Or does he just like getting his own way? Because that's the first time he hasn't got his own way of offences, and he's thrown the towel in, hasn't he?
It's hard to say. Like Limerick, there was no obvious reason that people were crabbing his run, but maybe in hindsight, he didn't pass the eye test on that day, and that maybe transferred again. I mean, to be honest, there was a lot of horses that didn't go in the ground. I heard the phrase specialist ground being thrown around a lot this week because it wasn't really even heavy. It was just proper stuff. So, look, he is a bit of a gangly horse. He's got those big, horrible long legs on him. So maybe there is a bit of merit to him. I wouldn't be giving up on him just yet if I have any slips on him, but I wouldn't be going in again at 7-2. I wouldn't say. Although he might be 2-1, 9-4 on the day. I could see people getting stuck back into him and kind of forgetting about the DRF run.
Just
So,
just reminds me a wee bit of Ballyburn all over again from last year. Massive reputation, and he's maybe just had his bubble burst a month earlier than Ballyburn did last year. And like the form of that race that everyone was raving about last year, that Turner's race, yellow clay hasn't turned up at all this season. I know the New Lions fan for favouritism. He certainly wouldn't be for me in the champion hurdle. So maybe that race just isn't as good as we thought it was, and maybe the three of them just aren't quite what we thought they were.
Yeah. What's the opposite of a bubble burst? A bubble blown? Factophile has kind of thrown his hat in the ring of a Gold Cup surprise
Yeah,
performance.
yeah, it's hard to see where that's come from. Well, he's always had a big performance in him, but I don't think anyone really thought he had that big a performance over 3 miles in him. I mean, he's got to go Gold Cup now, hasn't he? Which kills me to say because he's in every anti-post bet I've ever done. But you can't not go Gold Cup after that.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think I'd fancy him that much for the Gold Cup, just because I'm not convinced he needs to be prominent. It's going to be a 12 plus runner Gold Cup. There's a lot of them taking the chance, and there's a lot of horses in that want to be prominent. And I don't know if maybe he might end up just getting not the position he wants, and he might throw the towel in again like he did at Kempton. But it's a big performance, and he deserves to go there. He'll be favourite, that's for sure.
Yeah, Gareth, he's 1 to 100 to get supplemented.
Yeah, I'd say so. A bit like Ryan, my anti-post really took a pounding over the weekend there. A couple of really nice early season slips, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, final demand, Factophile, sort of rubbing my hands together, hoping that Factophile was going to get beaten 3 or 4 lengths maybe, and look on course to the Ryanair, but that's not the case. I'll be shocked if he doesn't run the World Cup. I would have the same concerns. I know he's won a 3 mile as a novice at Cheltenham, but looking back at that field, wasn't a great field that he beat on the day. And I probably have the same concern as Ryan, just that extra couple of furlongs uphill at the end. Yeah, it would definitely be a concern, but it's an open look to the festival. Can't ever remember the festival being this open.
Yeah,
Could this possibly be the first festival in probably in my time watching racing where we have potentially no odds on favourites?
yeah, I think
Um,
Factophile is the only anti-post odds-on favourite in the non-runner no-bet market for the Ryanair. I think he's 4 to 5. Even Lozzie Bout's 5 to 4 for the mares, which non-runner no-bet, I think she should be about 4 to 7 because she'd be about 1 to 2 on the day. I'm actually the complete opposite. I'm probably in the vast minority because I share your concerns regarding Factophile for the Gold Cup, which is why I think he should just go and win the Ryanair. Like, what my logic is, it's nothing like I know the way you're thinking being supplemented because he was being aimed at a Grand National, so there was no stamina doubts. The reason that JP took Factophile out of the Gold Cup picture was because he didn't think he was a Gold Cup horse. If they're fooled into thinking he is a Gold Cup horse, in this race that kind of not even kind of fell apart, completely fell apart. Galopin, the whip was only drawn on him once. Gaelic Warrior pulled Patrick's arms out the whole way around. Like, they crawl around for the first half of the race, then they picked it up steady, and then they kind of sprinted to the finish. Like, I don't think they're going to be fooled. I think they should go and win the Ryanair, because I don't think he'll win a Gold Cup. That being said, I have gone in since on Galopin for the Gold Cup, which is a massive, massive fate chance. But even listening to Willie afterwards, Willie said, oh, look, he probably had 2 or 3 races over Christmas. And if you just watch him, he was just really looked after. I think he was looked after anyway. I know he's usually very good at Leopardstown, but at his age, he's probably just being ready for one big run, and one big run is going to be at Cheltenham. So I'd probably back him over Factophile, to be honest, but he probably will go to the Gold Cup. Gaelic Warrior should go to the Gold Cup, but he might be flip-flopping with Factophile.
Yeah,
sure.
I expect fully for Gaelic Warrior to go to the Ryanair and Factophile to go Gold Cup. They won't both run in the Gold Cup. It's one's going one way, one's going the other way. And I just think it's quite clear after that he beat him 6 lengths, didn't he? So that's the way they've got to go, really, I think.
I think there's a bit of an interesting conundrum there with the JP horses. You've got, I know your way you're thinking, you've got Factophile and you've got the, what do you call the horse one Cheltenham, his name escapes me there, last month.
Milan's Tower.
Milan's Tower. You'd think surely one of those three will run the Ryanair. It's not going to be another way you're thinking. Is he even going to turn up at all? But
will he pitch John Bott into the Ryanair picture?
Could do.
Potentially. That's Majbur got his entry taken out, and I think Cromwell came out today or yesterday or today and said another way you're thinking. If he's not in any sort of form at home, he won't run in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, it's a strange fall from grace. He looked so impressive last year, but again, did that Gold Cup just fall apart? Um, I mean, I know there's a theory that goes around, and my friend, probably one of the first guys that of my age that was ever into horse racing, used to always say that he would never back a Gold Cup winner to win another race. And for a few years, that trend had been bucked, the likes of Albin Photo and Galvin. But if you look back at a lot of the winners, you know, they just aren't the same horse after the Gold Cup. So there maybe is some truth. You just probably need to be a particular type of hardy horse to win that and continue on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, Albin Photo is probably an exception to the rule in that he only ran once. He ran at Tremor in New Year's and then straight to the Gold Cup, so he didn't have a lot of racing. And then Galopin is just a really, really good horse. But that's probably the type of horse you need to be to go and repeatedly pitch in Gold Cups. We touched on Lossiemouth there earlier. Disappointment, brighted his head, just a better horse at Leopardstown.
Yeah, I don't think she was ever travelling, was she? I think we did say last week that we both didn't see her as a 2 miler, did we? She doesn't jump well enough to be a 2 miler. I think she gets away with it. But she clearly, I don't, she's won on bad ground, but she clearly didn't enjoy that ground too much. If she went for the champion hurdle, I still think she'd be favourite, or should be favourite. I think she'd be the winner. But yeah, be surprised now if they don't take the easier route and just go and win another mare's hurdle.
Yeah, she's probably sure odds on to go to the mares or to the mares. We'll touch on the champion hurdle in our Cheltenham Festival Day 1 preview. Another hurdler, 2 mile hurdler that won, but I wasn't overly impressed by, although me and Ryan both laid him on our DRF preview, was the Joseph O'Brien trained Talk the Talk. Got up on the line somehow to beat Ballyfad and King Rascal Grey Haviland back in third. Is that form to follow going forward? Will that speak in March?
Um, Tough one. I was totally against Talk Talk. I actually backed King Rascal Grey. Coming to the last, thought I had a really good chance, and then yeah, Talk Talks ran on out of nowhere. Just be a little bit concerned if I was backing him, he could get caught a little bit too far back at Cheltenham and maybe not make that ground up quite as easily. I wouldn't be on side for the Supreme myself. I think there's definitely an Irish horse I prefer and definitely an English horse I prefer over him. So
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, I think he'll run on for a place in the Supreme, but I don't think he'll be good enough. I don't even think he won that race, to be honest. I'm still not over him.
Yeah, I still couldn't believe there was some roar at DRF when that was the biggest roar of the weekend when number 10 was called the winner, because I don't think anyone really thought, because you didn't get a replay on the course, you just kind of were waiting assuming Ballyfad won because he was a head up before the line and a head up after the line, so it looks like Talk the Talk just dived to get there, but that's racing.
I saw the replay twice today again, and in no world does that horse get up. Like it doesn't look at any point that horse is ahead.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
even when his head's down on the line, he still looks like he's behind.
Yeah, I was trying to stop the still as well on my phone. I don't know if it was the camera angle that it just never looked like he got there, but he did. They had the picture out of it. The picture was pretty clear cut as well. It wasn't even close. It was like a full nose. But look, another horse that impressed, pulled a little bit, but I don't think the race is up to much. She's 3-1 favourite now for the Albert Bartlett, Dr. Steinberg. Onside, offside, have to wait and see.
I'd be pretty happy. I did say on the last show that the 10-1 for him to win that race and win the Albert Bartlett was a decent bet. It's probably the only thing I got right.
Collectively,
yeah,
we got right.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a favourite chance. I think he definitely should go for the Bartlett. You'd be a little bit worried. He does have a tendency to pull, but like he's done everything right so far. He deserves to take his chance, and he'll be favourite on the day. You always get a weird result in the Bartlett, don't you? I think the average winner over the last 10 years has been around 16-1. So
Yeah.
chances are something will pop up that you give no chance. So, but he's got a favourite chance right now, and I thought it was a decent enough win though. The horses in behind don't appear to be up to much.
Gareth, Turner's, Bartlett, certainty to run the Bartlett.
Yeah, it'd be a Bartlett horse for me. I was quite impressed, albeit the field wasn't up to much. Thought the market was a little bit weird last week. I think near the start of last week you could back him at 10-1 for the Bartlett, but by the time the race started, he was like 11-2, 6-1 for the Bartlett. But he was drifting out on the day, to like 7-4, which probably looked like a great price now. So yeah, yeah, I don't know what he beat him behind, but he couldn't really have done it much more impressively. Probably reminded me a little bit of Final Demand, and the way he did it last year. But we know what happened there at Cheltenham. Although I can't, I think because of that, you'll probably see this horse go to the Bartlett and take his chance there.
Yeah, completely agree. That kind of summarises DRF. We won't touch too much on the handicaps, because some of them were absolutely awful. I mean, the 3 mile handicap hurdle, there was two runners that finished in about 40 lengths to third, and 5 or 6 finishes at some. So we won't touch too much on them. That'll round it up, and we'll move on to our Supreme Day 1 preview. Welcome back to the Staying On Racing channel. This is our Cheltenham Festival Day 1 preview. You will notice we have all changed clothes. That is because someone who is responsible for recording the video may have not recorded the audio last time we done this at the end of our DRF preview. But welcome back to the channel, Ryan and Gareth. How are we?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. You?
All good. I got to see some great racing since we first tried to do this about a week ago. Which will give us a bit more insight towards the festival. But I suppose we'll just get straight into it with the Supreme Novices Hurdle. The one Nicky Henderson horse that remains in it after the forfeit stage today is, of course, the favourite, Old Park Star. The second favourite, Talk the Talk, Joseph O'Brien. El Kairos, third favourite, My Daddy Paddy, Sober Glory. Lots of other yaks in behind. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be quite confident the favourite will run well here. The old Park Star. It was a very impressive performance the last day, wasn't it? Beating the field by 18 lengths from a previous winner. I mean, the horse he beat, he'd actually beaten Sober Glory, who has since at the weekend gone on and won again. So the form looks very strong. He's going to be a very difficult horse to pass. The only horse I've backed in this race is actually Al Kairos. I mean, his jumping is a bit of a worry, but I mean, Jack Kennedy said it was his fault rather than the horse's fault at the last hurdle. So hopefully, I mean, if any horse is going to pass him, he's the one that's got the speed to do it. Whether or not he can last up the hill will be interesting. But he looks very exciting, and he's the horse that I'll be at the moment. I'm backing, but it doesn't to go straight from just a maiden to winning a Supreme. The last horse to do that is Shishkin, who didn't win a graded race before turning up. So you have to be a very good horse to do so. But hopefully he can do it.
Yeah, Jack Kennedy came out today and said he's probably the fastest horse he's ever ridden. And also he has no concern about his jumping, which I would love to be in that same mindset as Jack Kennedy. How about you, Gareth?
Yeah, similar thoughts apply as Ryan. I do sometimes like to try and get a couple of horses on side the novice hurdles. So my two bets that I backed in the Supreme are Old Park Star and El Kairos. I backed El Kairos just before backed Old Park Star, just before he won Haydock. So yeah, happy with that bet. Yeah, I have this feeling that he's just going to go from the front. Just do it the easy way and gallop a lot of them into submission. I will just say though, I've never seen a horse look as fast as El Kairos over hurdles. He nearly looks too fast. His legs seem to work quicker than his brain. So if he's alongside Old Park Star at the last, I mean, I'd probably fancy El Kairos to win. The only thing that would concern me is it could potentially turn into a bit of a mystical power Supreme, where Old Park Star could come there looking the winner, or sorry, El Kairos could come there looking the winner, and Old Park Star might just gallop him in the submission up the hill. So yeah, I'm happy in my position. I'm sort of ruling out Talk the Talk. I don't know why. I can't quite warm to him.
Yeah, me and Ryan very skillfully laid him massively for the DRF in our preview for that. So I hope to God he doesn't win a Supreme.
Yeah. look, you can't back them all, and look, I'm happy with two are back, and I'd say that'll be my position. I can't see my position changing between now and then. So yeah, yeah, happy with where I stand, and for me, it's between those two.
What are your thoughts on the previous hype horse for Skeltons, My Daddy Paddy?
Yeah, I think we discussed this in the first recording. A lot of people making excuses for him. For me, have no excuse. If he's good enough, he should have been winning that on Boxing Day. So yeah, he wouldn't be for me. I think it's just screaming a typical skeleton overhyped novice hurler for me. Yeah, the only English horse I think will count will be Old Park Star.
Yeah, I'm of a similar view to both of you that El Kairos is the main danger to the English horse. I really don't like talk to talk, and that's probably also pocket talk from Laneham the last day. But I just can't see a way in that the races run to suit him. Like if Old Park Star goes out really quick, he's not gonna have the pace to sit in behind him, and he's not gonna. If they go a little bit slower, he's not gonna have the speed and the instant fire that El Kairos has. I can't really see a way that the races run that'll suit talk to talk. If he's on the bridle turning in, I'll be absolutely shocked. And I can't remember the last Supreme horse that was being scrubbed along turning in that went on to win it. I just can't. I'd probably pitch him into the turners, to be honest, if I own them. I know they're fairly adamant on the 2 mile trip, but could you not see him getting behind quite early?
I'll say Joseph doesn't seem to be worried about that at all. He came out earlier this week and said, if he gets beat, he gets beat. This is the best option for his future. I personally agree with you. I don't think he's got the form or anything really to suggest that he should win this race, beating Ballyfad, which I still don't think he did beat Ballyfad, but he's beaten head. I don't think that form is going to be quite good enough. Gordo's pretty he's pretty non-committal with Ballyfad, whether he's a Supreme or a Turner. Doesn't think he's not top horse for either race. So going to need to step up on that, in my opinion. I think the hope for him, I suppose, is that Sober Glory is now definitely going to run in the race. He obviously likes to be prominent, so perhaps if he forces Old Park Star to go a little bit, they take each other on a bit. It might set up a bit better for him. But as you say, I think El Kairos is a better horse, and it sets up for him rather than talk the talk.
Yeah, I don't think that DRF race is like a lot of people. I think if you're back in talk to talk, you're pitting your hopes on King Rascal Grey and Ballyfad turning out to be good horses. I'm just not convinced that King Rascal Grey and Ballyfad done a lot of the dirty work, and it still took the whole length of the straight for talk to talk to get up and get past them. I wouldn't even back King Rascal Grey in a handicap of 146 or whatever his rating is, let alone back a Ballyfad for a Ballymore or a Turners. Yeah, I suppose we'll move on. I suppose we'll give our final selections. I'd like to give a mention to Leader Dallier. Now, he's not done much, and I know I just said Ballyfad has not done much, and he hammered him, but you can take the chance of forgiving that run that Mullins just weren't running great at the time. He's 16s, 20s at the moment. I think if I was to price up him being the Mullins number one and the one that Townend's going to be sitting on in the Supreme, it'd be probably heavy odds on. So I think he might be one for maybe an each way bet just based on value. Like you're getting 20 to 1, it'll probably be 8 to 1 on the day, just people wanting to back Willie Mullins, a Supreme horse. But I'd probably, if I was to make a final selection, if you gave me a free bet right now to back the Supreme, I'd go with El Kairos at 6 to 1. Gareth, who's your pick?
Yeah, just straight up reverse forecast. El Kairos. No, I'd probably up the prices. I would just side with El Kairos. But yeah, I'm hoping they come 1-2.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if 3 horses beat El Kairos, so I'll be backing him each way still. Nice. At 6 to 1.
Nice. So we'll move on to the biggest certainty in Cheltenham Festival history, the best chaser in training, and the best horse that Nicky Henderson has ever trained in the Arkle Chase. Lulamba is an absolute certainty in the Arkle Chase. Should I just skip this race? We're all going to agree that this horse cannot possibly be beaten in 4 weeks' time.
I personally think you couldn't be any more wrong if you tried. I think he's got absolutely no chance. The way he got detached the other day, I know he's won the race easily in the end, but
Detached
his
is
jumping
harsh.
his jumping took a long time to warm up. If he does that in the Arkle, and a horse with the ability of Kopek de Boards can get a 5 length lead on him, I can't see how he catches him. I know he lacks experience, but by all reports, he's fine. He's done a good bit of work. He will be running. I just think the Triumph form is so far behind the Supreme form, and he's got so far to go. Lulamba, he did it well the other day in the end. I'll give him that. Probably slightly better than I thought he was, but I just think is he going to make up the
Yeah,
ground
well, why,
on
why,
Kopek de
why are you
Boards?
referencing the Triumph form? What you should be saying is he's just gone out and won a handicap or just won a graded race against seasoned mid 150 chasers on his third run as a chaser, first step out of novice company, giving some of them a pound, bottomless ground, which wouldn't have suited him really. If you look at he's the type of big, long, gangly legs, a bit like Final Man. Those type of horses don't really like the heavy stuff. He detached is a harsh word. I will say that. I wouldn't say detached in mid division.
All right. Well, the English Grade 2 2 milers, they're not worth a sausage, are they? I mean,
I can't see. It actually winds me up. Not you, Ryan, but some people and a lot of people on Twitter are saying, "Jesus Christ, the Lamb has got absolutely no chance in an Arkle." Yes, would I rather it was 2 mile 1 instead of 1 mile 7? Yes, but how quickly did Lulamba go from Jesus, he might be in trouble to he's 5 lengths clear and I'm back on the bridle coming to the last? Just because he's not visually a massively impressive horse, but once he gets that couple of smacks, he's gone. And I think if he gets to the bottom of the hill, Kopek de Boards ran super fizzy first time out. He took 4 or 5 fences to warm to it as well, and he was fighting for his head a bit, and he was just fizzy. And he's going here again, fresh off the back of a surgery, and you're taking a lot on fate there. Lulamba's got an official rating as 163. If you want to take that literally, Kopek de Boards is going to have to come out and put out a mid 160s performance on a second run over fences, and I just think you're taking 3-1 on that. It's not for me at all. I'm going to stick with Lulamba.
I think the 1 mile 7 is not his trip, though, is it?
No, he's
Just short of 2 mile.
But there's how many Nicky Henderson chases, 2 mile chases, have gone 2 or 3 seasons where they've needed a step up and trip, and they've still won these 2 mile races. He's a complete mold of a Shishkin, of an Altior, of a strong staying 2 miler. Will he be running in the King George in probably 2 years? I could bet my life he probably will be. But right now, I still think he's got the gears to be competitive over 2 miles or 1 mile 7. Gareth, who are you going to go for in this race?
I'm not really too bullish in this one, to be honest, boys. I'm somewhere in between the two of you. What I've spent the last couple of weeks doing in free bets is really doubling up the Supreme and the Arkle. Doubling Old Park Star with Lulamba and Old Park Star with Kopek, and El Kairos with the two, just to try and cover all bases. Because for me, I can't see any other than those two horses winning those 2 races. But I wouldn't really be bullish. Last week, I think whenever we recorded, you could get Kopek at 9-2, whereas Lulamba was 6-4. Now Kopek's 5-2, and Lulamba's still 6-4. I think those prices are a bit more aligned. If you'd asked me last week, I would have taken the 9-2 in Kopek. I probably wouldn't take a 5-2 on him now. So yeah, I'm gonna unfortunately have splinters and sit on the fence in this one. I can't really make my mind up between the two of them. I think Kopek is more of a 2 miler, but as you said, Jack, Lulamba is just in the mold of another Shishkin, another Altior, just behind the bridle a little bit, with 4 or 5 furlongs to go. And when he's asked, he picks up and he can put a distance between the horses. So yeah, interesting race, but I wouldn't be bullish. My only bullish opinion on the race is I couldn't have either of those 2 horses from the DRF, or not Kopek, Romeo Coolio or Cargies, based on
had very hard races at the DRF by the looks of it anyway.
I wouldn't have Romeo Coolio as a 2 miler. Certainly, even less than 2 mile would be even worse for him in my book. So yeah, it's just between those 2 for me. I'll have a bet on the day, but at the moment, I haven't quite decided who I'm nailing my colours to at this point.
So with me on the absolute certainty scale of Lulamba, Ryan on the absolute no hope scale of Lulamba, and Gareth right in the middle. We've got the full
Yeah, in the middle.
Goldilocks trilogy here. Yeah.
Speaking of certainties, looking forward to talking about the next race.
What, the Boodles? Correct. No, we'll go straight to the we'll go straight to the big race of day one, the champion hurdle. I think I'm just gonna let you take the floor here, Gareth,
Yeah,
and just go straight into it.
yeah. Like it comes to a bit of an asterisk. My opinion on this all season has been that Lossiemouth would win this. Um, I still think it. I'm disagreeing with the masses on this. I still think there's a chance she runs here. I appreciate the Mirrors is the more likely option, but I think if Sergino had been here, she 100% would be running the Mirrors. But I think just based on the last few runs, I think it's a pretty open champion hurdle this year, and I could see them rolling the dice. And if she does run it, she would be where my money lies. But if she doesn't run and goes to the Mirrors, I think Golden Ace is just the one that sticks out here as a bet in this. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced New Lamb is going to beat her when he fell at Newcastle. I couldn't be having Brighter Days Ahead at 5-2 issue.
Three
At
to one best
Cheltenham, I
price.
know. What's your 3-1?
Best price, yeah.
Yeah, she's a little bit short for me. Yeah, she ran well. Obviously beating Lossiemouth. I didn't quite feel Lossiemouth looked like she was at the races. A bit like that time behind Cornhill. She didn't look to be going. Looked to be maybe going a yard quick for her, which would be a little bit concerning over 2 mile. But we know she's really good course form, and we know that Brighter Days Ahead obviously has one good run and one bomb out. Gordo's coming out saying he put some sweet knee pads on her, so she's a new horse.
Shin guards.
Um, yeah, shin guards. But yeah, like I would be very keen on Lossiemouth if she came here, but like the sound of things, it's likely based on the markets, it's likely she goes to the Mares, and if she does go, the bet would definitely be Golden Ace for me.
Yeah, it seems to she's slowly becoming the wise guy's horse now. I can't scroll through my Twitter feed without someone like a video clip of people saying Golden Ace is the bet for the champion hurdle.
But
Um,
I said this. Remember, I said this a week ago on the first report.
we unfortunately we have no audio proof of that happening, so
Yeah,
we can't prove it.
yeah.
I just don't know. Like, it's no secret that she's been gifted a couple of races, right? It is a very open champion hurdle, I will say that much. Brighter Days Ahead, questions to answer. Conhill, questions to answer. The New Lion, far from impressive last time. Lossiemouth probably goes to the Mares. I just don't think, like, 12 to 1, 14 to 1 as an each way bet. You're getting value on your each way leg of the selection, but I don't think you can back Golden Ace in this race with the win part of your bet, expecting her to win if they all turn up, or even one or two of them turn up. Like, if two Brighter Days Ahead, Constitutional, and the New Lion turn up, all three of them, they'll all beat her at their best.
I'm happy to have a match bet with you that the Golden Ace finishes in front of the New Lion.
Oh, well, that's the one I wouldn't take out him. I don't like the New Line at all. I mean, he barely finished in front of Brentford Hope. But I just don't think 7 to 1 is a value angle when you're betting on the win side of the bet for the 3 horses in front of her not to run their race and kind of the race to fall apart in front of her again. That being said, there was a horse left in the champion hurdle today while Willie Mullins took out El Fabiolo. He's 20 to 1 non-runner, no bet.
Hope it's Hurricane Fly, is it?
Ballybird from the front in a champion hurdle. I think he'd be much more suited to this than a Stayers hurdle. I don't think he stays 3 miles in the back of a horse box. He's got that mad keen head carriage. Now, he's on breeding. He's all stamina. But he doesn't race that way. Sometimes they just don't race that way. It's a crazy champion hurdle. I just think if they pop him out in front, Lossiemouth goes to the Mares. Townend will be on, unless he picks Poneros, which I can't see him doing. Just pop him out and go and see what happens. Come get me. Put pressure on the New Lion, who looks to need a little bit further. Brighter Days Ahead. Maybe she bombs out at Cheltenham again. Maybe she doesn't. Constitution Hill, more pressure on his jumping. Like, if you go outside of that, like Poneros, Tutti Quanti, Amsterdam, all these other horses are around. I think he might not run, but a non-runner no bet 20-1 on Ballyburn to blitz from the front, I don't think is the worst bet in the world. It's just a mad champion hurdle. What do you think, Ryan?
It's just, yeah, it's a very tough market. I'd be completely against the new line. I don't think he's got any form that suggests he should be at the top of the market. Brighter Days Ahead has been to Cheltenham twice, disappointed twice. Constitutional might not even run. And if he does, he can't jump at the moment. The only way I play this at the moment, I know Gareth, you said you like Lossiemouth if she turns up. I was surprised to see her non-runner no bet price is 4-1, which I just think that's the easiest each way bet you're ever going to do, isn't it? If she turns up, she's surely she'll go off near enough favourite, won't she? So 4-1 seems big for non-runner no bet. Thinking though she's probably not going to run there, so yeah, I don't know. At the moment, I wouldn't be betting on anything in that race, but if forced, then I'd be backing Lossiemouth non-runner no bet at 4-1.
Yeah, I'm actually on the other side of the coin in that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, she should run here. She should absolutely run here." But if you like we said in the preview, DRF preview, she doesn't have really any form at 2 miles. So to pitch her into a champion hurdle because it's the race she should go to, I'm not too like the mare's hurdle will be an absolute procession. Like there'll be nothing showing up against her. But I don't think she should run in the champion hurdle. I don't think she's an out and out 2 miler. I think she should run in the mares. But yeah, if you gave me a bet right now, non-runner no bet Ballyburn, you're a non-runner no bet Lossiemouth, and Gareth, you're betting on the one horse that will run and won't win in Golden
Would
Ace.
you, yeah, just back to what you're saying there, Jack, about the 2 mile form for Lossiemouth. Would you read anything into the fact that she maybe doesn't act as well around Leopardstown? I know a lot of people are putting that theory out there at the moment. It's not something I'd really thought about before, but I think she's been beaten around Leopardstown 3 times now.
Yeah,
And she does seem to run better around Cheltenham, and that could be something at the back of it. Yeah, I don't know why. Look, I'm probably going to be proven wrong, but I just have this nagging feeling that they might roll the dice this year.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I've got a feeling they might. I mean, the reason last year was given that they just, Rich Ritchie just wants to have a winner, and he didn't have anything else particularly trading that short. He's got a few, he's got a favourite for the bumper. Gaelic Warrior's going to go off odds on for the Ryanair once he's switching. So he's got other horses this year. So I think there's a chance she might run.
yeah. I don't know. Even the vibes I picked up before she was beaten by Brighter Days Ahead, like was still like Ruby and Townend and stuff. Were always saying, look, she's just a better horse over 2.5. So forcing her to run the champion hurdle, I just can't see the angle. But she will be. I can see the value angle 4-1 each way, non-runner no bet, or if she shows up, backing her on the day, because it could fall apart. Like, but yeah, I'll stick with my Ballyburn 20-1 slips with much more faith than that. That wraps up the good racing from day one. I suppose we'll have a little dip into some of the handicap fancies. A horse I put up, ding ding ding, after timing, in a weekend racing review a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned him, Saratoga. He's now a very wise guy's horse after that run the weekend in behind Highland Crystal. Mark Walsh giving him an absolute corker of a ride. Would Harry Cobden have been able to get that horse beat? I think not. Saratoga is now 5-1 for the Boodles. He's probably my biggest handicap fancy of day one. Just how can Mark Walsh get away with that? It's brilliant. The horse looked like he went about 2 lengths up after the last and still got beaten like 3 lengths. It was absolutely perfect. He hasn't got a rating yet, but I think Timeform gave him a provisional 122, which would be absolutely beautiful. Any handicap fancies for day one?
Not really. It's a bit early now, isn't it? But for handicaps, I hope Jaguar goes to the Ultima instead of the plate. I think the markets are leaning that way anyway. They keep talking about defending the plate, but I just think he needs to step up in trip. He's quite short price now, so nothing much there. I mean, the Wallpark has jumped to favouritism in
Yeah,
2 of the day.
surely he won't be going to either the Kimure or the National Hunt Chase. I'd imagine the English handicapper is going to absolutely nail him. Good time
Yeah,
Johnny style, £10. Fucking have some of that. Like,
exactly that. Yeah, I can't see him running in the Ultima when they've already got the favourite in Jaguar. So I suppose he'll be saved for the Irish national, won't he? Which off of 142, he'll go off very short for that.
yeah.
I like Madara in the plate. He ran a very eye-catching race at Kempton the last day. Never ever put into the race. Somehow Dan Skelton gets away with everything and just gets a couple of pounds rise every time his horses run. So he'll have a very good chance in the plate. And the one in the National Hunt Novices Chase that I have backed is Blaze the Way at 20-1. He's already got course form, 1:03 1/4 miles, beating Lahon Press by 5 lengths in a handicap at the December meeting. Had then a spin a few weeks back in Ireland, and it seems like a fairly good prep. He'll go off there, he'll get in, it's to 0-145, but he'll get into the race no problem. I think he'll have a decent chance at 20-1, but nothing concrete at this moment.
Yeah, it's hard to ask for a handicap fancy 4 weeks out from the festival. Just a quick one in the Ultimate. I don't think he's going to run here. Jericho de Repene, because the English handicapper gave him a big massive favour, dropping him £3, which means he can get into the Kim Muir off top weight. But he is still only third favourite. I think he's 8-1 for this race. They might be in favour of this race over a shoulder and top weight in the Kim Muir, maybe, but he's definitely one who's been ready for a handicap at the Cheltenham Festival. I'll be on him wherever he goes. In the same race, National Hunt Chase, I've had a small bet on Will Do. He was third in this race last year. Before the conditions of the race changed to a handicap, it was always a race that suited the battle-hardened, experienced second season chaser. He's still a novice. He's had 13 starts over fences. He's following a very similar path to last year when he was third to Rock My Way and Haiti Colors, who's obviously got on to bigger and better things. But he's going to be off a very similar mark. He's a dour stayer. He's only had one run this season past 3 mile 1 at a marathon trip. 3 mile 6 he ran at Fairy House, and he was just done on the line by the runner-up in the Thyestes. So I think he's handicapped to go well. He has to be on a good day. He's a bit of a moody horse. I just think he might be one of these walk in the parks. They need a little bit better ground. He's 33-1 for a horse who was third in it last year. He was a clear third as well, and he'll be off the same mark. So he's probably one of my big outsiders for the day. I haven't got much else in the plate. Gareth, have you got any handicap sure things for us?
Yeah, I have a fancy in the Ultima. I think I've mentioned it to you before, Jack. Goes against all the trends. Ultima would tend to be the one that, for some reason, I tend to do well in the Ultima and the Boodles, and then have no handicap winners the rest of the week. I don't know why that is. But the one I actually quite like for the Ultima this year, as I said, the big trend is to back an English horse. So I've backed the Irish horse, which was 3-card brag for Gordon Elliott. Won well at Cheltenham in the October meeting, and then was second to an unexposed Panic Attack. So yeah, just his last few runs, he seems to maybe turn the corner in his form, and he looks like he's run a couple of consistent races in a row there. And yeah, I've backed him. I think you can still get 20-1 on him in some places, which I thought was a fair enough price. And the only other one I would fancy, I was actually quite surprised to see him 10-1 non or no bet, the National Hunt Chase. And I don't know if the plan is for him to go. Was Argento Boy in the National Hunt Chase. He looked like a strong stayer last day when he won, and it looks like the step up and trip won't be an issue for him. And yeah, like potential to improve further. For that extra few furlongs. Don't know if the plan is to go, but just with the Mullins angle, I was surprised he was 10-1. I thought he'd maybe be a little bit shorter. I'm not going to know bet.
Yeah, I was looking at Argento Boy. I don't know if he's going. Similar to you, I don't know if he's going. I also don't know, does he need a little bit worse ground? He's also 144, so the English handicapper might just go give him £4 or whatever and just get him out of the handicap, and he might just be one straight for the Irish national. Seems to be another one like that. Yeah.
So just you're saying about the ground, like, I mean, I'm no long-term weather forecaster, but all I'm hearing at the minute is there's going to be another couple of wet weeks here. Like, surely the ground is going to be soft at best, by the looks of things at the moment. So any of those horses who have had a little bit of form in the last few weeks, you'd imagine they're probably going to get similar enough ground again. The question is just being on that ground, especially some of the heavy conditions, nearly unraceable times. Well, those races have taken too much out of them. It's sort of that juggling game, isn't it? Trying to decide if the fact that they're running the same ground is a positive, or the fact they've had a hard race, 5-6 weeks before the festival, is that going to rule them out? So yeah, couple of ones like I just said in the last video. I cannot believe Winston Jr.'s 9-2.
Okay.
I mean, I think if I was going to have a match bet double on the first day, it would be Saratoga to beat Winston Jr. and Golden Ace to beat the New Lion.
It started so well. It started
I'd
so
look back those two because just look at it and just think that typical JP plot. I mean, if Saratoga wanted to win that race last week,
I thought he was gonna win it when he jumped the last. I was like, oh no, he's gonna win this and go to 130ish. And
we know it's a race JP won last year. Put your hands together. So like it's 20 targets, and I think I just don't know if I could back someone in a juvenile hurdle, handicap hurdle at that price at 9-2. But if I was going to be backing one of the two, I'd have no doubts it'd be Saratoga.
Yeah, he's
the horse he beat into second at Ascot was beaten 22 lengths in that race on Saturday, wasn't he? Behind Saratoga, so form doesn't look great anymore. Well, it never looked great anyway, but the whole not boosted it whatsoever.
I always find it so hard to take any Boodle's form literally. That's the only thing. Like Munsif seems to be another one that people are putting up. The Charles Burns horse that was beaten even further. He probably didn't catch the eye as many people's eyes as Saratoga did, but look, Potty Roach won it with Brazil 4 years ago. Beat Gaelic Warrior, so now by collateral form, Brazil is rated 180. Take it that way. So just go quickly. We get our day one naps. Mine is obviously the big machine, Lulamba. Ryan, who's your nap?
Yes, Kopek the Balds won't be beaten.
Brilliant. Gareth Romeo Coolio.
Probably Lossiemouth if she goes. And if she doesn't go, I'd probably say El Kairos.
Brilliant. That was a great preview. Hopefully lots of winners and lots of handicap winners 4 weeks out from the festival. We'll be back shortly, probably Thursday, if I remember to record the audio, with day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival. But until then, enjoy and see you next time.